Amazing. I want to thank you. This is incredible. Who knew? I knew it was going to be good. Who knew?
All right, a big crowd for Donald Trump rally last night in Massachusetts, Lowell, Massachusetts. They were braving very long lines and frigid temperatures. Look at this. It's 29 degrees in there. They're all, huddling up, trying to stay warm. My only point in saying this is I don't care what numbers you see on Donald Trump. My own view on this stuff is forget about whether they're overstating his popularity. What if they're understating it? Radio talk show host Gina Loudon on that. Gina, what do you make of what we're witnessing here? I mean, a lot of people like to dismiss and say, oh, they'll never come out and vote. In a state like Iowa, with its Byzantine caucus process, they'll never go through that. What do you think?
It reminds me, Neil, honestly, of temperatures braved by Tea Partiers who believed the entire future of their country was at stake. And, Neil, I think that's the way Trump supporters see this. If you talk to them, that's what they say. This is our last chance to save our country, and they believe that Donald Trump is the man to do it.
So you read into, as I read, whether you're for Donald Trump or not, that here's my crackpot theory, Gina, that I think there are a lot of people who will never say they support Donald Trump, but secretly they will. And I'm old enough to remember, much older than you, young lady, in 1980, where a lot of people said, I would never support Ronald Reagan. He's an actor, a governor. He says trees cause pollution. Never, never, never. And those polls were fairly even a week before the election, and we know he ended up winning by a landslide. Now, I'm not saying there were different factors there, but I am saying sometimes you meet inflection points in elections where people say one thing and do quite another. What do you think?
You make an excellent point. The technical word for that is the Bradley effect, and I'm sure you're familiar.
Yes, indeed.
And basically what happens, Neil, is that the left has so successfully branded him a hater, branded Donald Trump a hater, that people are afraid to admit that they like his ideas. And so in a live telephone poll, for example, they may say, no, I wouldn't vote for Donald Trump. So you are exactly right, Neil. His numbers may astound us, and the number of people who don't want to admit that they're going to vote for Donald Trump to a telephone pollster, for example. But when they are alone in that ballot box, watch what happens. I think the numbers, even the numbers in Iowa are going to surprise us. Go ahead.
Gina, I'm sorry. You're not of the view that says when people do get in the privacy of that ballot box or close that little curtain, quite the opposite. No, I really can't do this. I can't. You're just the opposite.
I think that people feel like they can vote for him, even despite some of his really obvious, very human flaws. I think people feel like desperate times call for desperate measures. And I think people, at the time when Reagan became president, as you so aptly pointed out, people saw it as life or death. We were going down in a nuclear explosion. I think now people see this president, instead of confronting Islamic terror, he's talking about more gun control. I think people see us in a time period where no one else is making the strong stances that Donald Trump is willing to make. And I think the people, when they get alone in that ballot box, are going to be thinking about their kids' future and thinking, you know what? I trust someone strong like a Donald Trump who will just say it like he sees it, to continue saying it like he sees it. And maybe we have a chance of actually preserving our children's future.
Gina Loudon, thank you very, very much. And as Gina and I were talking, just a reminder to those watching, we're not comparing Donald Trump to Ronald Reagan or Ronald Reagan to Donald Trump. We are saying a phenomenon of people who say one thing and vote another. And what if the opposite were true against the consensus, that those who say they're going to vote for Donald Trump end up not doing so? What if, in fact, those who say they would never vote for Donald Trump do so? That's what we're positing. I want you to think about that during the break. That's your homework assignment. We'll have more after this, including one Ben Stein's view that all the